Welcome back. Now let's continue our discussion on the issue of the delegates now and how important they are. I'm being joined on the program from Abuja by Chief Dan Wanyango, who is the chairman of ZLP. ZLP, by the way, is Zenith Labour Party. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Let me start by asking you just how important this delegate election is. How important that these delegates are choosing the presidential candidates of their various political parties.
Oh yes. The delegates are very, very important. They are germane to any political process that has to do with electing a candidate for an election or electing a member into a political party office, be it at the Congress, be it at the primary election. The delegate is very, very important. And that's why you see a lot of struggle to be delegate to primaries more than that of congresses. Because you see, when you become a delegate to the primaries, you reassure yourself that you'll be part and parcel of a process in choosing a leader, either at the local government level, at the state level, or in the federal level. So delegates to a primary election is a delegate to a primary election is a very huge office, a very huge responsibility. Ditto a delegate to a Congress to elect officials of a political party.
And somehow I tend to get the impression that, look, especially for the presidential primaries, that, look, somehow these delegates are deciding the future of the country, if you like, because it is whoever these delegates choose that will go on to represent their party now as candidates that the electorates will have to choose from.
Yes, exactly. It's the delegates that can infer that they have elected the leaders, but it's only a fraction of the voters that will indeed elect the leaders.
Exactly.
You see, if you put all the delegates of all the political parties, or even the members of all the political parties, I don't think it will be up to, talking strictly and without bias, I don't think it will be up to more than between 1% and 5% of those whose names are in the electoral register that will finally decide who becomes what. So it is correct to say it is a fraction that elects the leader by the mere fact that they have elected the person in the primary process and the person finally won in the general election. So, but it is not right to say that they did because their percentage is very minimal. The main people who decide who gets what are in the field there, where you have over 90% of voters who are out there that will use their voters card to decide who becomes what.
I understand you, but you know, one thing is certain, that if these delegates do not get it right, somehow it will have some kind of consequence on the entire population. So how important is it that these delegates get it right, that, for instance, they do not sell their votes, as we've always seen in processes like this in the past? How important is it that they go to vote with their conscience open?
Well, it has the consequences, as you said. The first consequence is that if the delegates don't get it right by putting the right candidate, the greater delegates outside will reject the candidate. The candidate will lose the election at the general election. Then the party has lost. On the other hand, if they get it right, the populace with the greater number of votes may elect that person, and by so doing, the delegates who started the primary process may claim that they have made that leader. So it is a two-edged sword. It's either you do it right and win, or you do it wrong and lose. So it comes to the point that the delegates are the people who kickstart the process of throwing somebody up to the greater delegates to choose from among others coming from different political parties on who should be elected into an office.
Let's talk about the issue of statutory delegates now. Lawmakers in the National Assembly just made a last-minute amendment. That, of course, that document is before the president. He hasn't signed it yet. And, of course, we know party primaries are coming up very, very soon. So, and if the president doesn't sign that document, somehow statutory delegates would not be taking part, because that's just the way it is. What do you make of that? Do you have any fear that the president may not sign that document now before the primaries begin?
Well, in my party, we don't care whether the president signs it or not, because in the first place, we consider that amendment as unnecessary. We see it as superfluous. We see it as an overkill of the Electoral Act, overburden of the Electoral Act. These are decisions that the political parties should be allowed to take by entrenching it in their constitutions on who goes for a primary election, who will vote for a candidate, either to elect the candidate as a party official or to present the candidate for a general election. These are things you should find in the party constitution. But what you discover now is that when they don't have it in a ruling party's constitution, instead of going to the convention to get it inserted without this overburden, then they rushed to make a law. It is not necessary. In most constitutions, like in the constitution of the Labour Party, whoever is going to be a delegate to a congress is known. Whoever is a delegate to a primary election is known. It is in the constitution of the party. Why do you want to overburden the Electoral Act? It is not necessary. It is superfluous. It has no meaning, because what we are putting in the Act is something we're already practicing. So, I don't know, but I suspect that there must have been a consensus addendum between the presidency and the National Assembly, considering the speed with which they pass it. And I expect the president to also sign it for them with equal speed. But if it is not signed, then the Labour Party has nothing to lose, because we already have it in our constitution.
And somehow now you tend to get the impression that it appears the two major political parties are making their own problem become everybody's problem, so to speak.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. They have taken their own problem to force it on the other 16 political parties. Go and solve your problem. Resolve it constitutionally. It has nothing to do with other parties. These things are clearly spelled out in the rules of the party, which is the constitution. You don't have to take it to the act. Everything you take to the act. Everything you take to the act. It is not the business of the act. You are talking of members of a political party who shall vote and who shall not vote. It is only the party that can decide that. If they decide that their former president should not vote, that is their business. If they decide that the incumbent president should not vote, he should be an elder and be an observer, that should be the business of the political party. Don't foist on other political parties problems that you should have sorted out if you have a good political party administration within your political party to sort out in a convention. I think the two political parties that have held conventions in the past 1 year, two of them, they should have taken care of it. This amendment is not for the Electoral Act. It is for the constitution of the party. And I say it with all seriousness. It has nothing to do with the act. But you see, they are empowered. They say that the big parties, they can force anything in the party, in the constitution, and everybody in the act, and everybody will follow it. So that is what I say.
And I honestly, I can't better agree with you. I just can't better agree with you. It's difficult to fault.
Yes, it is. It has nothing to do with us. PDP and APC should solve their problems in the party. And they should employ proper administration, political party administration in their system. If there is something you omitted in the constitution, do it in the convention. You keep on overheating the body politic. Tell me the political party that will underrate a former governor, that will underrate a former president, underrate his former senators, underrate even the sitting senators and sitting governors. These are delegates, in my own view, that has his position has statutory flavor by the constitution that you should not tamper with. So if by act of omission or commission you removed it, Go and correct it. Don't force it on the nation by hitting the body politic.
You're quite right.
Then Labour Party is not interested whether it is signed or not.
I understand.
We have it in our constitution.
I understand you very well. This might just be, if you like, for want of a better word now, the arrogance of the arrogance of majority, if you like, because
it's our arrogance of power. They can say anything and do anything. We swallow it.
That's it. Chief Dangmanyao, thank you very much for joining us on the program, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot. All right, we'll take a short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI360, dissecting the issues.